What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video for the 96 YZ125 build. If you've been following along, you know that I got the bars on the bike. I've got a few parts on the rads, things like that. The wheels are just kind of mocked in there for now. I gotta take them off probably, grease the axles up, and make sure everything's good to go there, because there's a few things that gotta go on before I actually put the final torque on the wheels. So I've been up to a few little things here and there, doing some powder coating on the brakes and stuff like that. So I'll show you guys what I got on the bench there. So here we got the front brakes. This is the front brake caliper, and it's the bracket here. I did them in a semi-gloss black there, so they turned out really good. The rest of the parts are in the bag here. The seals and everything are in here, the old ones, but of course I got a new seal kit, so I'm gonna go ahead and install those. And as well, I went ahead and blew out all the dents in this pipe the best I could, and I'll put a little card up of how I do this. I got a little quick time-lapse video of how I do that, but I went ahead and blew all the dents out, and then I painted it flat black with it's actually barbecue paint, so it'll be able to handle the heat this thing throws. And as well, I actually went ahead and put the subframe, or actually the airbox rather, on into the subframe. So I'll probably get this off here with two hands. I'll pause the camera for a second. So I got the airbox all cleaned up here and mounted into the subframe. So the airbox cleaned up really well. I actually did some rocker guard on the side of the airbox. It turned out okay. I had to use the airbox that came with it just for price point alone, because the airboxes that I could find on eBay were not in much better shape than this, and it was a fortune for between the part and shipping. It was just too much to buy a different one. So, and I couldn't find a brand new one, so this one here is gonna have to do. It's still pretty solid. Everything's good. I got the little cage piece ordered, an OEM one, so that the filter doesn't collapse. But other than that, this airbox is ready to go, and subframe is ready to go back on the bike.
Perfect.
All right, so there it is. I got the pipe on and I got the subframe on here. So next I'm gonna go ahead and go over to the bench and start installing the new seals into the brake caliper. Right, so I'm ready to start putting the new seals back into the caliper here and start getting the caliper put back together, all the pins back on the bracket here, and then get them on the bike. Same with the reservoir here, and then I'll get the hose back on. But first I'm gonna work on the front caliper here and start putting all these seals and boots and everything back on. So the kit I'm using here is All Balls. So these guys, I've had really good luck with these kits in the past that these guys make. They're really good for the most part. I've never had anything leak. I did a CR125 a while back. The front caliper did leak for a little while. I don't know if it was an All Balls kit, but that's the only issues I've ever had, and I can't even say it's these guys that made the kit. It's so long ago, but I've had pretty good luck with these guys. So this is for the front caliper here, and they get a sticker as always. So those are the oil seals, and then you're gonna have the dust seals here, and then you have little things like the pins for the brake pads. And they give you a new bleed screw cap and a couple of crush washers, and just the boots for the pins, which is really good. So, but first I like to start out by putting the oil seals in. But what I'm going to do first is just I'm going to quickly blow all the galleries out, so make sure there's nothing left in there, because I did sandblast this, so I'm going to just make sure that I got all that cleared out. So I got that all blown out now. So I usually start with the oil seals themselves, just because they're the bigger seals and they're deeper in the caliper. So what I'll do is I'll just have a Kappa .4 oil handy, and then just put the oil onto the seals and then just put them in there. So just coat it with the oil. Now you got to be careful when you're doing this, because if you get oil on the powder coat, if you do powder coat or paint, the brake fluid is actually going to eat the paint, so you got to be careful. So if you get any on there, just make sure you get right in there and start wiping it off when you're done. So these go in pretty good. That one went right in there, so that's good. I don't like to say that, because sometimes after you say that, then you have trouble getting the next one in. But that one went in okay, so we'll see if this one goes in just like that one did. Trick is just kind of pin one piece of it in like this and kind of just shove it in with the other finger, just like that. So it's in there now. So now I'll go on to the dust seals, and I'll start putting the boots on after that. So I got all the seals in now, and I wiped down the caliper a little bit. I got a little bit of oil in there, and you see how quickly it happens. Is that black is a little bit of powder coat. It doesn't like eat it right off, but it does start to eat it. So you want to get that stuff off there right away. I usually, when I'm done all this, I usually wipe it down really good, and I actually spray Windex on there just to try and dilute the oil a little bit, and then wipe it off, and then it's usually okay. It doesn't like eat right through all the powder coat or anything like that. So next thing I'm gonna do is the pistons. So the pistons go in with it this way, because these are going to contact the back of the pad. So you don't want to try and stick these in there that way. These are kind of wear items here. So you put it in just like that. You got to kind of slide it through like that and then push it down in there. But again, you want to put a coating of oil around it just to make it easier. And you're going to have to wipe down the caliper again if you got, especially if you got powder coat on there. So you just kind of wiggle it back and forth, and it should slide right in there for you. Just like that. You get this one all coated. It's not a horrible idea to just put a tiny bit more inside here, just to help it along a little bit more. And it should slide right in for you. Just like that. So if you are having trouble getting it in there, try taking the seals out and making sure you've got all the dirt removed from around where the seals are supposed to go in, the grooves, because I've had it in the past where I did just miss a little bit of dirt in there, and that's all it takes just to take up enough gap where it's really hard to get these pistons back in. So if you're really having to force it in there and it's not working very well, make sure you just take the time to make sure those are clean, and then they'll go in nice and smooth for you after that. So the next thing you want to put in is these little boots. So this piece is going to go that way, because when this pin comes in, it's going to slide in there. I can't remember if this goes in here or here, but anyway, there's another pin that goes in here, and they're both going to come in this way. So you want the open ends pointing that way. So all you do is just take a little bit of grease and you just put it on there, and it should go right in for you. Sometimes these can be a bit of a headache, but usually they're okay. You just grab like a screwdriver with a duller tip or something like that to push them in. Sometimes it's even easier to put the opened end the other way. Sometimes a set of pliers helps. You just pull it through just like that. And then this little boot goes into here. So you got to try and get this little grooving here into there. But again, you just put some grease around it and it'll help it get in there. And again, when you're done this, you're going to have to wipe your caliper down if you've done the powder coating like I've done here. And there you go. All in there nice and easy. So now I'm going to have to have a look at I took a picture of this, which you should always do. Make sure I know which hole to put that. There's another pin that goes in there. So I'm going to just check that quick. And then I'll come back and keep putting this caliper together. So I got the little bracket put together now. It goes like this, because there's another threaded hole right here and here. So that's for the mounting. So these two pins, you're going to want to grease them up before you put them back in the caliper. And you put this in first, and then you can put your brake pads in. Make sure there's a good bit of grease on these. Just help your brakes operate better. So then it's going to go just like this with the small one over here. You can see the size of the boots and the holes in the boots and the size of the pins. You can't really mess it up because it won't go any other way. Push them in like that. And then after that, I'm using these Tusk brake pads. You want to make sure you wipe all the grease off your gloves. Actually, just for this one, I'm going to take my gloves off so I don't get any kind of contaminants on the brake pads. So one thing I did forget before I get too far, guys, is I forgot to put this spring in there. So I'm going to have to go back and just quickly take these out and then just pop that in there. So this little hook right here is going to go on this piece, and this piece is going to go on first. It's going to go in there like that, and then this piece is going to go on after, and they're just like that. You kind of got to put it over the hook like that, just like that. Then you take the supplied pins and you just put them in the holes, tighten them in. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at the parts diagram, because these come with two different mounting bolts. So I can't remember if this one goes on the top or the bottom, but there's another little guard that goes on the hose. I don't have it. I might order it, I might not, we'll see. But it has to do with that hose guard. So I just got to figure out if this goes on the top or the bottom, and then I'll mount this onto the bike. So I looked up the parts diagram, and this weird bolt with the thread goes on the bottom. So the caliper's on there now. It looks really awesome on there. This is really gonna pop when the fork guards go on, which has got to go on when the hose kind of goes on, because it's kind of integral to the hose. It kind of holds it in place. So, but I'm not gonna just put that on yet, just because I'm going to move on and I'm going to put the reservoir on the bar here. All right, so we're looking good here. I got the brake line routed, and it goes up through the guide, up into the reservoir here. I haven't tightened anything in just because I'm not 100% sure on how all this is going to go together. So I like to leave everything loose for when I put the plastics on. But that's going to be another day. I'm going to probably shut her down for tonight. It's late enough, so everything's looking good here, and I'll get back at this another day. Okay guys, so it's a few days later, and I got the fork guards out on the bench here now, so I'm ready to put these on. And when you put these fork guards on, it's a lot easier to take this front wheel off. I haven't tightened anything in yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this off and then put those fork guards on, because it's a lot easier to get like the inside fasteners in, so without anything in the way there. It's pretty hard to get an Allen key in there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'm still waiting for my clamps to dry, the hose clamp. When in doubt, paint it black. So that's what I got going on over there. So waiting for that to dry. I'm going to go ahead and take this wheel off and put those fork guards on. Right, so I'm getting into the last little bit here, trying to get this fork guard on. This last hole here looks pretty messed up actually, so I'm gonna have to get a tap and try and straighten that out, see if I can make that better, because it wants to go in cross threaded, so I can't have that, so I'll try and straighten that out. So I got the lower fork guards on here now. I didn't have to end up tapping that out, and I didn't actually have to take the wheel and the axle out to get these on there. You can do it with the wheel on, but I had to take it out anyway because I didn't put any grease or anything like that on the axle. So I'm gonna do that right now and reinstall the front wheel. Alright guys, so I got the whole front end together here now, so now I can go ahead and start torquing everything down. So what I do with these front wheels on these bikes is I'll line the axle holder up where I want on the axle, then I'll put some blue Loctite on these, I'll snug them down, torque them, and then I'll have the axle in here where I want it, and then I'll torque the nut down, the axle nut down, and then the pinch bolts. Reason being is because if you don't torque this side down first, that whole axle can start turning inside there and you won't get the proper torque value. So I basically, these pinch bolts just back it up for you as you torque it in there, and then it'll squish everything together as you go. And then I looked at the alignment on this and it looks really good, so I'm gonna go ahead and torque that down while I'm at it. Then the whole front end will be done. All right, guys, I got everything torqued in there now in the front end. I was going to end the video right there, but I think what I'll do is do a quick little time lapse just for the thumbnail, because it really doesn't look like I got a whole lot done on the bike for this video, just because all the small little things that got to be done, torquing everything. Maybe the subframe and the pipe might look a little different, but other than that, everything's pretty much the same as the last video, just because of all the small little things you got to do, little details that don't look like you got much done on the bike. So maybe I'll throw the front fender on quick and the number plate on just to see what it looks like. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this video. As you can see, I got the fender and then front number plate on. I may or may not have to take that off to bleed the brakes, but that's okay. I got the pipe on, I got the subframe on, all the little behind the scenes things like torque and everything, and that's all done in the front. So in the next video, I'm definitely going to put the rest of the plastics on, start putting the graphics on, and see if I can get this thing started in the next video or two. So if you guys want to see that and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, and as always, thanks a lot for watching.